Hey guys, it's Chris Wong here, and I'd like to talk about investing a minimum amount per paycheck. So, as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a planner. I'm just a guy who's interested in building my own portfolio and helping others. So, one of the things I actually do is I check my online banking and my credit card statements on my online accounts regularly. So, instead of wait for the statement to come in, wait for an email, or check it once a month, I check it every few days, or I check it every time there's like a big transaction or many transactions. And I think it's important for myself, and I think many people can benefit from this, is if you're using a credit card that you actually have to pay off, just pay it off regularly. And that's something I do myself. So even though if I have a credit card balance of like say $30 and it's due in a month, if I log into my online banking, I'm just going to pay it off because I want to make sure I'm not in debt. And I also want to make sure my spendings are less than my paychecks. If your spending is more than your paycheck, then you'll be in credit card debt and there's nothing to invest and there's nothing to save. And you cannot build wealth that way. So the only way to build wealth is you actually have to have a positive number to save and to invest. So the way I look at it is make it a goal to save minimum of $50 to $100 every paycheck. I say $50 to $100, especially more than $100, because if you save only like $50 to invest, you're not going to get that many shares. So for example, I want to buy the share called HYLD by Hamilton ETFs. It trades about say $12.50 per share. If I'm going to save $50 to invest, that's not going to be that many shares. You may only get 4 shares at most, depending on if there's any hidden fees in the brokerage. So I make it myself. Aim for more. But $50 might be a start for some people. The reason why I think it's important to log in online regularly is to also make sure your account's not hacked. To make sure that you know what transactions are yours. To keep track of everything you did. I think paying by card is a good thing because it's easy to keep track of what you bought. If I pay by cash, people say it's a good thing to not go into debt, but then if you don't keep your receipts, you tend to forget what you bought. And if you're in a rush to like get your change back, you want to make sure you get the correct change back. And a lot of times, I don't like carrying extra coins. I don't like carrying a lot of smaller bills in my wallet. And a lot of times I hate breaking bills down. So I rather pay a card most of the time. And when you make sure that your payments are up to date regularly, it's very easy for me to think about the first thing after I get paid from work is to put like at least $100 into investing. And then keep some money aside for saving, keep some money aside for my future expenses. So whether that's my rent, that's for gas, any other utility bills. If I wait until the end of the month or wait until the statement comes in, chances are the balance could be bigger than I expected. And I will have nothing to invest. I have nothing to save up. And chances are, in that case, I may have to wait for the next paycheck to pay the rest of the balance. I remember years ago, I sat next to a coworker at one of my old jobs. And I remember talking about credit card payments because we just got our paychecks and she told me she has to use most of her paycheck to pay off her credit card bill. I was thinking, how is that even possible? Because I had my credit card accounts paid up to date. I was living with my parents and she was also living with her parents. So I wouldn't think her expenditure would be that much more than mine. It's something I thought about that time and even think about now as I'm talking about it, of how I made sure my credit card statements were always paid off. Like, I hated having a balance, so I always made sure I had money to pay off and I have money to save up. I never thought about investing that time. And then comparing to my former coworker who was waiting for a paycheck to pay off her credit card statements and then almost having nothing left, and then continue spending money for the next 2 weeks only to wait for the next paycheck to pay off her previous balance. If you find this information really helpful, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see any of my future videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for listening.